the Achieve and Thrive Show, where leadership meets authenticity. The show where you discover how to become a leader who is no longer impacted by interferences and distractions, but instead becomes untouchable. Starring Annette Comer and Aileen Castellano. So now, get ready for what others won't tell you.
Hey, Aileen. Aileen. The camera's rolling. What are you doing?
I'm listening to Elton John to get myself charged up to talk about rocket boosters today, Annette.
So, are you ready? Shall we have a sing-along? The audience is waiting.
No, I'm ready now. I'm so excited about what we're going to talk about today. These rocket boosters are so needed right now.
Oh my, you are so right. And when things are as unstable, uncertain, and chaotic as they are right now, it is easy for all of you watching to get distracted and completely miss all the great things you're accomplishing.
So you might be saying, so what? But my response would be, what do you mean, so what? This is huge. When others miss the great things that you're doing, you're not validated or valued. And this lack of validation can impact everything, the money you make, the security you feel, and the impact you make in your community and even in the world.
And this all comes down to being willing to own your own accomplishments. Many of you don't do this because you believe deep down that either you're not good enough as you really are, as good as you really are. And I have to admit, Aileen and I have done this to ourselves and even with each other. When we have accomplished something great, instead of owning it, we deflect it by saying something like, oh, it was really nothing, or it really wasn't such a big deal.
And what's really dangerous about this is that it can become a normal pattern of behavior, a pattern that is very hard to break. Women seem to be more guilty of this than men. One reason for this is that society has taught us women that it is not ladylike to brag about themselves or claim their greatness in any way. How many women superheroes do you see? Not many, right?
No, we don't. But we got Superwoman. That was a good one. But for men, bragging and claiming success seems to be expected. So you watching have to make sure that you are boosting others' image of you by claiming your greatness. This requires that you create new patterns of behavior mentally, verbally, and emotionally.
So let's get started. We want you to become high flyers, an Elton John rocket man or woman. Someone who has the boosters to fly high, to propel your success to another level. And to do this, there will be 3 rocket boosters needed. Booster number 1 is to acknowledge. This means that you have to acknowledge your accomplishments, all of them, not just the ones that you're comfortable with.
And I want to clarify this because what we mean by this is that many of you find it easy to talk about things that you don't feel like you're really bragging about. For example, you might find it easy to talk about your children and their accomplishments or the great meal you just prepared, but find it difficult to brag about the great deal you just closed at work or the incredible book you just published. Instead, on these, you deflect.
So deflection looks like this. Wow, I heard you close $1 million deal last week. And even though you were the critical piece to the deal, you reply, oh, that was nothing. My team did most of the work.
Oh, I've got another example, Aileen. And this is a real life example that happened last week. I was in a conversation with a powerful woman who has a PhD from Brazil, really sharp young woman. But because it wasn't a U.S. university PhD, she blew it off when we were talking and said something like, oh, it's not a big deal. And I reminded her that it was a big deal. She had done the work and should claim her accomplishment. So let me say this to all of you. Quit deflecting. Claim your accomplishments and greatness. And when someone compliments you, say a simple thank you or so glad you noticed.
Absolutely. Thank you is a great response to this. So we're going to move on to rocket booster number 2, which is authority. This one is all about seeing yourself as an authority and claiming your little piece of the pie. All of you have something that you do well in your career or business that you're actually an expert on. But the word authority or expert trips you up because it feels like a heavy responsibility.
Did you say pie? Ooh, I could have some pie right now.
Delicious, please. Me too.
Bring on the pie. So this responsibility is only heavy if you try to claim to be an expert on something that you have no knowledge of. Now, I know lots of folks pretend to be something that they're not, particularly on social media, but you don't have to do this. You just have to find the thing, the space where you know more than others, and then claim it. But listen, don't look for society to give you this or to give you permission in any way.
As a matter of fact, social norms actually encourage you not to claim expert status, but instead draw down and make yourself small. They may feel safe, but will leave you feeling unfulfilled and less value. So I want to encourage you to put this rocket booster into play and find your place of authority, and then use it to help others and to fulfill their dreams and your dreams as well. So we're going to move into rocket booster number 3, bragging. This is about boosting your self-confidence through owning your successes. And it requires you to get comfortable with bragging.
Oh, I can see them just sweating now, can't you, Aileen? Because many of you struggle with this. Maybe your mom, like mine, said you shouldn't brag and to just wait. Others will notice. But you can wait a long time. So particularly if you're a woman, you most likely suck at bragging. In fact, if you're a woman watching this, you might even find it insulting that I ask you to brag about yourself. But it all comes back to you not wanting to see yourself as being better than someone else.
And I can tell you that men watching this, they don't have this issue. With regards to rocket boosters of bragging, you're way ahead of women. And so most of you have no problem with this bragging thing, almost to a fault for you men out there.
Yes, it is. You're exactly right. But women can learn something from all of you men. You often don't wait for someone to guess what you've done well or what you've accomplished. But we as women often do and get disappointed when someone doesn't recognize us or acknowledge for how good we are.
So this is our fault as women, and we have to assume responsibility for this. And we've all done this. Otherwise, stay frustrated, underpaid, and small is not an option. So I'm going to encourage you not to do it that way. For those of you that struggle with bragging, consider that bragging about your accomplishments in a story format is the way to go. For you women, this will especially feel so much more natural, organic, and less sleazy.
So let me help you see what this looks like. So I'm going to give you a role play. So John has just complimented you on what a great job you did on that project. And this is a perfect example of how you can claim, or maybe, let's step back. Let's say John didn't compliment you on the project, but instead was kind of deflecting and giving credit to someone else. So this is how you brag on this without looking sleazy. So here we go. So you would say something like, wow, John, I never thought that project would come together as it did. But I knew exactly what to do because this wasn't my first encounter with such a problem. Back in my old job, we had the same thing happen. From that experience, I knew exactly what to do. And look how great things turned out on what could have been a total disaster.
Wow, Annette, I love your example. We know you women might struggle to be an in-your-face bragger like men, and in so many ways shouldn't because it can be viewed as negative. So use the story approach that Annette is talking about. It is subtle and it gets the point across.
Yes, and I've used it many times, and it really does feel so much more natural, Aileen. I don't know, it almost doesn't feel like bragging. So we've talked about 3 rocket boosters, and I'm getting so fired up with these rocket boosters, Aileen. To the moon, here's where we're going, to the moon. So I hope all of you are watching and are feeling this and this excitement, because these boosters really help when things are unstable, uncertain, or chaotic as they are now. Because remember what we said at the beginning, without these boosters, others will miss all the great things you're accomplishing.
And women are great storytellers, so this is easy for us. Yeah.
Isn't that the truth? So when you acknowledge your accomplishments, when you see yourself in a place of authority, and you get comfortable with bragging, you move toward being a leader who is untouchable, one that can stand in your own power while ignoring distractions and interferences. But I ask you, are you this kind of leader?
And if you utilize these 3 rocket boosters that we're talking about today, new patterns of behavior and ways of being start to form for you. You'll find yourself feeling proud, more confident, recognized, and who doesn't want this?
Yes, it certainly is. So let's look forward to what's coming up. We're going to put you on a diet that is easy to follow and proven to work. So get ready to lose a ton of weight.
Are you able to be untouchable? We have a free gift that will help you find the answer. So if you're on a desktop or laptop, just click on the video to get access to the gift. And if you're on a mobile device, click on the link in the description notes below, because finding out if you're untouchable is very important for what we're working on.
So stay full throttle toward becoming someone who makes a difference. The world is waiting for you to show up.
I can't wait to get into my skinny jeans again, Annette. Wow. Until then, remember that we are here to teach you how to be that untouchable leader that we're talking about. One that isn't knocked off your game by interferences or distractions.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.